So Nirvana had arrived at the Toronto Zoo. It ended up being about 6 weeks before she actually gave birth. I have dealt with other pregnant cats, but this was my first lion. But thankfully we have lots of experience at the Toronto Zoo dealing with pregnant big cats. So we already had, designs for the den that we've used with tigers and cheetahs, that we were able to take those plans and put them into place in quarantine. We got that den in several weeks before she was expected to give birth. She really didn't show that much interest in the den until just a few days before she actually gave birth. And then we had cameras set up so we could watch her when we weren't there. On the cameras, she started spending more and more time in the den, which is one of those signs that, okay, we're getting close. And I was there the afternoon that she went into labor. And we had seen on the cameras some different behavior. She hadn't been interested in food during the day, which is typical for cats that are about to give birth. They go off their food. So we all just kind of turned off the lights and let her give birth in privacy, but watching her really closely on the cameras. And it was a really easy birth, immediately showing great maternal instincts towards the cubs.
It was decided that Nirvana should come back to us because where she was at the zoo, she was quite isolated. She was inside and she'd already been there for a couple of months. So they were concerned that she had this pent-up energy, that she was getting a little stir-crazy.
Great mom, taking really great care of the cubs, but as the cubs started growing and becoming more independent, they're a bit of a handful. They wanted to come out of the den. She was originally not very comfortable with that, so was constantly trying to put them back. And we noticed, especially in the past week, that she just was getting more and more kind of pent up in terms of energy levels, her concern for the cubs. And so at that point, we reached out to Aspen Valley and Turpentine Creek to say, we think that a move back to Aspen Valley would be in her best interest and the cubs' best interest.
The plan was to bring her back to us so she could have some outside time and have a little more space with the cubs.
Everyone mobilized really quickly in the course of a week. We figured out a transportation plan, got everything arranged. And this morning on move day, we tried to see if Nirvana would come into the crate for chicken, which is her favorite food. And that was a no-go. She was very focused on where the cubs were and what they were up to. So we put the cubs into their transportation crate, put that crate in front of Nirvana's crate, and she immediately, right in to see what they were doing, and we were able to close the crate to start her journey back here. We have just unloaded Nirvana here at Aspen Valley into the shipping container that is her home for the next little while. Great news, she was very calm throughout it. She didn't even really seem that concerned about the cubs once she was in there with them. She had a long drink of water, and then we were just looking on the cameras, and she's lying down with them, reunited and seemingly very comfortable here.
Nirvana coming back, obviously she knows all these guys. She's been raised around them. Her brothers, of course, she knows quite well. And then Thor, who's on the other side of her, she has spent a lot of time close contact, not together, but same fence line, here and at the facility that they were earlier. So she knows Thor quite well, and obviously she knows her brothers quite well. It was interesting when she came back in, the brothers certainly had quite a reaction to her coming back.
Nirvana's current habitat is actually in between other lions, and so in the background we're hearing some occasional growls and roars.
Mufasa's always been very protective of her. He's very interested in her and he wants to be with her. So he had quite the reaction to her, so we did have to calm them all down, separate the boys, because it got a little intense there. But they all know each other, so hopefully they'll all just settle in again. It's been a lot of change for them over the last 3 months and a lot of moving for them. A lot of animals coming and going. Kim and Carl, who they also knew, they have gone to their forever home, so they've lost some friends, So especially for Nirvana though, because she's moved a few times to us and then to Toronto Zoo and then back again. So considering what they're going through, they're doing really, really good. It's unfortunate that they have to go through all this, but that's what has to be done in order for this rescue to take place. This move is obviously going to be their last. and they can have consistency from here on out. She's settled in pretty well for the most part, but we are waiting still for her to kind of nurse those cubs. We have cameras on the enclosure, so we're able to watch every move they make. And even though she was going in and she was like licking them and giving them affection and stuff, she wasn't staying in there long enough to actually nurse them. So watching her all night, watching the cameras all night, by this morning we thought we should probably go in and maybe just give the cubs some fluids, because of course we're worried about dehydration when it's been 24 hours now without anything. And it's also, it's warm weather here too, so they can dehydrate faster in the warmer weather. So we decided this morning that we would go in and just kind of help them out a little bit. We're hoping Nirvana continues to settle in and she'll eventually nurse those cubs, but in the meantime we're going to go in and just kind of support them a little bit. And by that we mean like subcutaneous fluids, and then we started giving them a little bit of formula as well. We're a rehab facility, so we're very used to dealing with babies, orphans, all sorts of mammals, and so it's very common that there's an adjustment, of course, right? Like when they come in, they're not really sure of the taste of the formula or how we're presenting it. Everything is very foreign to them. There's nothing natural about it. So it does take them a little while to adjust to something new. So the first feeding, of course, is always going to be not the smoothest. They're not going to like the taste of it. They don't really know what's going on. And that's what we saw in the first feeding. But typically what happens, especially if they get hungry enough, they figure it out pretty quickly, and then they'll start to latch onto that nipple and then start to drink the formula on their own. We can just supplement that formula until Nirvana relaxes a little bit more and starts to nurse again on her own, which is what we're really hoping for. So we're going to try to keep these guys together. So if we have to help support them for a little while, that's totally okay. Every species we do, there's a difference in how we feed them. Some are fed on a syringe, some are fed on a bottle, some are actually gavaged. It's called tube feeding. So we put a tube down their throat and into their stomach. So it depends on the species. The more species you do, the more experience you get. We used a syringe and a nipple just because we have more control of how much formula they're getting, and we can actually kind of put the formula in their mouth so they can get the taste of it. Some animals take very naturally to a bottle, such as deer fawns, moose calves. They're a lot easier to feed on a bottle, but typically we start most mammals on a syringe until they get the taste of it, and then we might pop over to a bottle. And hopefully we don't have to do that with these cubs. Hopefully Nirvana will step back in again and do her job. But in the meantime, yeah, well, it's very similar to a lot of the animals that we feed already. It's just a different animal, but same technique.